There are a lot of shitty managers. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. There are a lot of shitty ones. If you have a really good manager, it's like a life-changing experience, but there's so few. So few. A lot of them are like just barely doing their job, you know? But yeah, if you do have a good one, I mean, good managers have experience with the job. Yeah, the ideal situation in any company, in any job, is like someone who's good at what they're doing, it becomes a lead of some team, and then is just kind of acting as partial manager, kind of. Or they become a manager, they still put in some normal work hours, and then they spend, you know, their priorities management of other people. That's ideal. But the problem is when you have someone who's really good at their job, have to spend time on like administrative stuff and communication and all that. Now you don't have that really good worker doing that work for as many hours. So that doesn't always like work out, you know? A lot of people who are good at their job don't want to be a manager. You know, I there were times where I was managing things here and there. My thing that I always tried to do in former work was always trying to keep myself just getting to be in a role where I could just do the work and not have to manage much. I really tried. Didn't always work out, but I really tried. And you know, I would be really blunt with people. They'd be like, "Hey, you could take on this type of role for this project. We'd love to pitch you for blah blah blah." And I'd be like, "Fuck that." You know, like I would just go, "Fuck that. I'm not doing it." And so I got to like avoid that a lot of the time and just get to do some of the rote work. Or in a lot of cases I would go, "We don't need a manager for this one. We don't need it. We could get like one lead maybe." And you know, he said if I was forced into management, I'd just retire. I'm cool with like it depends on the type of project. There are some projects where the manager is just like the lead. They're just leading the meetings and then communicating like once a week with a client. If it's that, totally chill. But if you're like on something large, you have a lot of people under you and you are spending so much time just communicating between all these people, fucking sucks. It sucks. So I would only take ones where I was making an initial pitch and then like a check-in with a client here and there or something. If it was like really collaborative where the client or whoever we're doing work for wants to always be in on everything, I would refuse. I would refuse. I wouldn't do it because it was just the most annoying role ever. Terrible. You've been a team lead. It was interesting being able to see behind the management curtain without being management. Made you realize you don't want to be in management. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff that makes you feel like you're wasting your breath and you're wasting your time. But it has to happen. Someone has to do it. And it's just frustrating, you know? Like if you're in tech and you're a TPM and you're talking to a client, what's happening is the team is doing the work. You're keeping track of everyone's work. You're using some Kanban board, whatever the fuck, and making sure that everything's moving along. You're checking in with people. That part's not that bad. It's just a little tedious. But then you spend so much time talking to people who are on the outside, who need to know how the work is going, who don't know anything about tech, and you're just trying to like describe shit to them. And they'll ask you dumb questions that are only dumb from the perspective of someone who knows how this stuff works, you know? Like, so you have to be nice. They'll be like, "Can we just do this thing that costs $500,000 extra?" And you're like, "That costs $500,000 extra, and here's why." And then they're like, "Is there a cheaper option?" And you're like, "No, there isn't. It can't be done." And they're like, "Surely it can be done." You know, you're just like fielding these questions constantly. Yeah, "Can we add AI and machine learning? It's all the rage." You know, like you just spend all this time doing it. And it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating, man. Terrible. Phone calls all day. You're sitting there making reports of what the work done was, and you're trying to like make it colorful and exciting so that the people on the outside who don't know anything about the work can look at it and be like, "Oh, it looks really cool," you know? But like you have to make some like small adjustments look great. So you're screenshotting stuff and putting it into a chart and being like, "Is this text big enough?" It's like stupid work.
I had
hate
to
it.
write the mandated AI section for a recent proposal and I wanted to jump.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And so I'm glad I'm not really like doing that type of work right now because that's what everyone's requesting right now. I was already experiencing some of that a bit ago, but I love not being in this type of work in this year, you know, in like last year, this year. Oh man. No thanks. No thanks. Thankfully, a lot of the stuff that I did couldn't really be solved with it. So I got to avoid it anyway. But I still got asked so many questions about it. And ugh, man. So annoying. It's the same in under other industries like event planning. People say, "Can we have a 50-foot ice sculpture at the barbecue?" Yeah. Yeah. It's the same experience no matter where you go, right? Like explaining shit in layman's terms to clients on the outside is just, oh, no, thank you. Yeah, arguing why they've got to spend money on necessary legal requirements. Oh, that's the worst. When you have to sit there and tell them, like, legally, I can't store this data this way. I can't. I have to do XYZ. And they're like, what if we just did though? And I'm like, that's illegal. I've had people ask me, how much are the fines? Like they're like considering like eating a fine and then not fixing the issue, and we build it that way anyway. I'm like, what do you mean? I've been asked that so many times. I'm like, brother, no. What if we just ate it? And I'm like, that's such a like rich executive way of thinking, you know? 10K per entry per day, bitch. Yeah. Yeah. The EU finds 10% of revenue. Oh, for stuff like that? Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, that is crazy. I don't know, dude. It's just, I feel like you said, like every industry has that too, though, right? Like people always ask for stuff that just can't be done, and then they ask for stuff that's illegal all the time. And right, you said in architecture, right? You've got so much going on with architecture, like that you have to stick by, and people will be like, "What if we just did it though?" I'm
GDPR legit changed how I architect systems.
Mm-hmm. There's so many regulations that make it so that your most elegant solution is just not usable. It's terrible. When you're working with certain agencies, certain industries, and they're storing certain types of information, you just there's so much you have to do, especially like medical. If you're storing medical information, oh my god. Oh my god, the regulations are insane. Everything has to be HIPAA compliant. When you make sites for certain agencies, you have to be compliant with all these things. You literally have to make like the website contrast high enough for for certain agencies. Like there's like actual rules. Yeah, it's not just HIPAA, guys. It's so much more than that. But it's just, oh my god, there's so much. There's so much. Wait till you see how many offices ignore them. Oh yeah, well, you know, but it's not your fault at that point. Like you built the thing and you're like, it's good, and then you hand it off and you're like, here you go. Times New Roman is illegal. If you use a serif font on this website, you will die. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. You did IT work for dentists and doctors, and they're the cheapest bastards on the planet. Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. And the way they work is so inefficient. So inefficient. But same with anything in like the real estate industry or construction. When they're dealing with all of these regulations on early paperwork, they do everything on paper, like genuinely. And so many people want these solutions to not have to do these things on paper, but then they won't comply with all these regulations, so they just stick to their archaic whatever the fuck. It's so bad. Did you ever try to explain to a bioinformatician you can't DNA sequence whole cities and forward them the data? Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Ugh. I feel like this is a lukewarm take, maybe not a hot take. This feels lukewarm to me, but I do not believe in ugly cute.